process. There we go. So missed that big build up for you. So I'm going to have to just very quickly do that again for the recording. Here we are. Drum roll. We're launching John's book, Poetic Substance.
Thank you very much.
So, John, tell us a little bit about yourself then. What do you do?
Well, what I do is writing. I do writing, whether it's a book, and also have a gift side. Poetic Substance is a bespoke writing and poetry company. So the book came on the back of doing the poems. It started off really one of my friend's birthdays. I'd done a wee kind of topical poem about her birthday, and people really liked it and started to share. It was back in the old mobiles. Used to copy and paste and send it to different friends, and it was really just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And what happened? It started to people were expecting or were asking, requesting. Okay, you're going to do one about this, and sometimes I was already on it with these things. So it just comes as a result of something, maybe a funny night out, going to a gig or that sort of thing. Yep. So what happened was I would do the wee poem, I'd send it round on the phones, and they would have a kind of back and forth and a bit of a laugh about it. And then started to do ones for like friends' birthdays and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I never knew that I had a passion, or I didn't know how much I enjoyed writing until I started doing that.
Yep.
So then I would just do it for like gifts, and then I decided to try and make a go of it as a business. So that's where kind of Poetic Substance kind of started.
And I think it's awesome that you've managed to do that, and it's great, isn't it, when you have these things that are these accidental businesses.
Yeah.
that kind of which is quite, yep.
It came out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It came from just something. I mean, I've always had a fascination with words. Right. I've always enjoyed words, and I've always had that kind of relationship with them, but I never knew that I would ever fall into the category that I would be doing something like this. And yeah. I worked in insurance for 20 years. I mean, they're completely different. I mean, how different can you get?
So I think this is maybe a little bit more interesting then than working in insurance.
Something I'm very kind of passionate about, and I'm not getting. I worked in an industry that was quite stressful. Mm-hmm. So for me, this it falls into quite a few categories, as well as being a business and stuff. It's therapeutic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's therapy for me. So yeah, I get the bit between my teeth. I like to get the information. What happens is I gather information, and I kind of break it down, and then I kind of get to work on the poem. So as I said, that's how it started, and I thought I could try and kind of make a go at doing these things, whether it be for weddings, do funeral tributes, odes, that sort of thing. So there's so many things that you can do with the gift aspect, because there's so many subject matters, and I'm quite happy to try anything, take them on. So there's been everything from like a newborn baby right through to an 80-year-old's birthday.
Right.
So yeah, it's fun, it's challenging, enjoy it, and on the way I'm always building up the portfolio as well. Yeah. So that's the thing which has led to the kind of the book.
The book creation.
Because I started to write kind of topical and kind of humorous stuff, satirical, and I just kept putting them away, saving them up. So when I had to pick through for the book, I had quite a wide.
It's quite a collection. Yeah.
Quite a collection. Just to kind of whittling it down to what I wanted, sort of thing. Yeah. So I just enjoy the process, enjoy you know.
So can I ask then, and what was this, you, those that are watching, if you've got a question or anything you want to ask John, then put it in the chat, and well, I'll keep a wee eye on that and kind of let we'll ask you some other questions. I'm just, so where do the ideas for, you know, for the poetry collection, you know, that's here, you know, where did the spark come from? You know, what is it that suddenly, you know, gets your attention, that you start thinking?
Do you know, it can really be anything. It can be, as I said at the start, it was sometimes a fun event, a weekend, or a mishap, something, you know, I don't, just anything from, generally, if it's a funny situation or kind of mishap or a good event or a bad event, just used to kind of pick up on it and maybe slagging your friends via it, sort of thing. So it was just kind of one of those. But the spark, it kind of comes, sometimes it comes from, a lot of it comes from kind of your mainstream media, that sort of thing, or on your social media. And sometimes getting a wee nugget of something that's maybe a wee bit unusual, or a person, like, you know what it's like with the book, with regards to the book, like some of these characters, for example, the Tories, like Jacob Rees-Mogg, Donald Trump, are very easy material at times. You know, so
you definitely had
not easy material, easy. There's subject matters that present themselves to you quite easily, and it's just a case of working on that and kind of taking it from there. I just love the process. You know, so with regards to the gifts and stuff, I'm presented with all the information to then develop the poem, but with regards to the stuff in the book, it's just me taking a subject matter that I'm interested in or find funny, and just kind of developing it from there, you know. So
you're really giving your, I mean, it's like, it's your view of the world, really looking at some certain, you know, and certainly we've got a lot of the politicians have given you lots of opportunity to create some stuff, but
as you well know,
but quite kind of quite tongue in cheek, and a lot of, you know, with humour. That's the whole thing. It's satirical, it's humorous.
Just like to really have fun with it. And just take an edge on it, take an angle, and just run with it, you know. Obviously sometimes embellishing it a wee bit.
Well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? You can have a
so just enjoying the process and having an end product. I've always every piece of work that I've taken to has been completed through to the end. I've always, as I say, when I get the bit between my teeth, I've never abandoned any work. I like to see it through to the end. It's just, and I think that could be something to do with OCD as well, because I'm quite OCD prone. So it's my baby, you know.
and that's it. And if it hadn't been, then you probably would never have got this to this stage where you've actually got a collection put together. And
I'm continuously adding to it as well. So whether it depends on the success of this or whatever, I mean, I'm always adding, and I share on social media. Generally, I share quite a lot on social media, probably too much sometimes, but the reason I do it is to try and hook people to either now buy the book or want a gift for themselves. So that's why it's quite good in the book at the end that there's a wee bit about what I do in the gift side, because people might be interested in coming for that aspect. So it's a crossover.
So you've got, so you can have a bespoke gift for somebody that's coming up. I mean, it's a great thing to have, if it's, particularly when it's a special occasion and you're looking for what can you get somebody, you know, everybody, they've got everything, what could you possibly get? Well, there's not everybody's going to have a poem that's written specifically for them. Or, as I said, when you and I spoke about it, I just see this a really, really nice little gift book. To give to somebody as well, isn't it? Somebody who just, because you know, and it's not necessarily people who are huge poetry fans. Because I wouldn't describe myself as a poetry fan. I don't have, you know, lots of collections of poetry sitting around. But when you sent me your first poems and we started to talk about, you know, to get, and I was sitting laughing, you know, I was actually laughing reading them. And that was the thing, you know, it gave me a laugh, and it kind of just brightened your day, you know. And some of them we had to kind of, maybe suggest that we kind of eased out a little bit, you know, maybe not for the book, but
the defamation, the new defamation bill, that was quite a typical thing. But what you're saying, I do get that feedback quite a lot, which is good. I hear people saying, "Oh, I'm not interested in poetry," and then when I read them one or let them see it, they say, "Do you know what? I haven't liked poetry, or even at school and stuff, but yours is accessible." It's kind of, you know, it's accessible. It's not trying to be something it's not. It's just just a bit of fun and playing on the words and stuff, you know. So a few people have said, like, you've really turned me to see that there's something else out there and different, you know, and it could actually help other people that they might see someone that's got a similar style or kind of look
or
into
just lead them on to it.
Yeah.
So I've got a question. So I mean, Joyce is asking whether there are any Scottish poets that actually have inspired your work. I mean, have you been a fan of other poets, or?
Do you know what? At school and stuff, I mean, obviously I liked the Rabbie Burns, you know, the school and stuff like that. But I wasn't overly influenced, or I never wanted to be. As I said, I fell into this. I loved English at school and stuff, but no, I don't have anyone that I could actually say.
So if there's anybody else here you can share, if you've got another poet as well you want to share, then by all means, you know, in the chat you can let us know.
I can't even think. The reason, the unusual thing is that I'm big on writing, but I'm not massive on reading. It's just how I am and how I've been. I prefer to consume information in different ways, and it's not normally a book.
Yeah, it's
kind of documentaries, kind of that kind of thing, you know. So I've never been entirely influenced by anyone else, but I do like different people's work and stuff. I do keep up with different people, but off the cuff, come from Scottish sort of thing. No, I don't, Joyce. I just kind of like to do my thing, and see what I can see other things as I go along, you know.
So we've got another comment coming here from Carolyn. Carolyn saying she's enjoying the Cumbernauld theme. She's a local,
nice,
so
nice. Hello, Carolyn.
And she says, saw the one about the Queen at the Iron Brew Factory.
Yes, the Iron Lady. Cheers, Carolyn. No, Carolyn from we're both on an entrepreneurial scheme, Royal Bank of Scotland. Why am I plugging them? But RBS and I had an entrepreneurial programme. We both were on that. Carolyn with a kind of a tech business and stuff, and now she's got her book, which I still haven't managed to pick up, Carolyn, but I definitely will be. Interesting to see that. It was really good to see the pile of books for Carolyn's and mine on the windowsill that you posted.
That's it. Yeah, that was it. The recently published.
Absolutely, Cumbernauld, massive. You know,
so I've got another question from Paul. Paul's and he's saying, so how do you start writing a poem? So what's your process then?
Process, for example, with regards to the gift side, I get given information. I ask a series of questions, generally about 4 or 5, and they're good starting points. What we'll do is I'll just pick the information. Sometimes the challenge comes, you can get too much information, and you can also get too little. But I quite like, I like them both. I know it sounds daft, but I like working with little information. It's as equally as a challenging as breaking down and taking what you want from the stuff that you have. Sometimes you get too much, and it's just breaking it down. I pick the kind of the more important things, or the things that the people might want definitely included. You pretty much get free rein. But if there's something to say, like, do you particularly want this mentioned, or do you want that? So I just like to, and I generally, when it comes to the gift side, I do an 8-line structured poem. But it sometimes goes over 8 lines. It can go to 12, it can go to kind of 14, whatever. It's just if there's stuff, the information they want mentioned. it's not going to go on forever, but you know, it's just trying to get it with 8 lines. I feel you get it nice and punchy and direct.
Yeah,
it's covering everything they want to as much as you can. And with regards to the topical stuff, I start to just build a picture of whatever the theme is, and it just starts to roll. I start to get ideas. I can start to get a line. If I get a line, I get another line, and I just kind of go with it. And before you know it, I can have all the lines together for the 8-line poem. And what I do is I knock up a graphic and fire it up on to social media. And that's the other thing about the book as well, is that I enjoy doing graphics. Yep. So the accompanying graphics with the book was fun. It was fun too. There's nothing too over the top. There's nothing too involved. Yep. It was just a visual to try and elevate the words and make a book that was, you know, visually pleasant. So it's a win-win in regards to that. So,
yep. So what kind of responses do you get on your social media channels then? You know, when you post,
generally very good. Post new... You know, like, yeah, people just loving it, or they're sharing it or liking it and making a comment. That's it. Generally the comments that are on the back of the book that you read out at the start. Yep. Generally kind of one-line kind of things, saying they like it and ha whatever, you know. That's what I wanted to do with regards to the comments. I've got a lot of feedback, but I wanted the feedback on the book to be reflective. Remember we spoke about that? Yep. To be reflective of the content, that it was succinct feedback. Yep. You know, just that's it. It's
almost like you're a man of few words condensed into, you know, so you get how would I describe it? It's a bit like Campbell's soup. For those of you who never watched like Campbell's soup, it was always Campbell's condensed soup. So you had it, you had to add the water to kind of make it, you know, but you're the condensed version. That's it. You're
the Cumbernauld soup.
There you are. How many poets have ever actually been described as Campbell's condensed soup?
That's it. Absolutely. That's one to remember. So just rolling with it, just getting creative and just getting in the zone, really. Yeah. Is what.
So Joyce has said that her Jackie Kay and Liz Lockhead inspire her. So so those those are definitely other poets.
I think I've actually been in Liz Lockhead's company before, doing a spoken word event.
Because that's what I was going to ask you then, you know, about going out. Before we kind of came out the call, and John said, you know, this isn't my thing about this kind of like public speaking type stuff, but there is a real kind of cultural stuff, certainly in Glasgow, Edinburgh, around spoken word. Artists, you know, so, you know, who sometimes wouldn't necessarily describe themselves as poets, but, you know, that whole just being out there. And so are you going out and, well, now we're starting to maybe be able to get back out again, but is it something you would really, do you see yourself kind of trying to be out doing that? Or?
Yeah, do you know what, it's a good question, because the ones that I did do before, I never fully enjoyed. I was always nervous, and it takes it away from the enjoyment of your nervous. I found myself sometimes speaking a bit too fast. It's very kind of self-conscious. I just didn't seem to relax, and I was thinking, if you're not enjoying something and you're not able to relax, in a way I was thinking, what's the point? Maybe not for me.
I've got a very book that could help you with that, actually. Sheila's on the call tonight as well, and Sheila's written there's a wonderful little book that she did. It's actually all about meditation, but it's meditation by stealth, really. You don't really realise that you're meditating, and it just really just calms you down. And so there you are. Sure. So we'll give her a little mention.
The first time. Hi Sheila, I'll have a wee look at that one. The first spoken word I'd done was at the Gallery of Modern Art for part of a poetic festival, and then I'd done a couple of follow-ups. But one of the ones was at the CCA, the Centre for Contemporary Arts. Yep. And my legs were like jelly going up on the stage. Yeah. And as soon as the kind of light was on me, there was about 150 there, but it's just all eyes on you. You know, and I think I read it too fast. I'm very, you're your own worst critic, and well, I'm personally anyway.
Yeah.
When it came off, a lot of people were saying that they thought it was good, and I actually got some. I done some voluntary work in the back of it. Someone's really enjoyed it. They wanted to come along to a meaningful conversation group.
Right.
So that meant a lot, but
to
me, I still didn't feel, I didn't.
Yeah. But the more you do it, it's like that with, and I say that to so many writers, because, and I know there's a lot of you on the call tonight who are actually all writers as well, is, most writers are fairly introverted, because that's where you're living in your heads and then onto paper. And the challenge then is about, getting out and actually, speaking about what you're doing, reading some of your work, talking to people about it. But if you think of the people that you've met, or the opportunities that other people have had to kind of go and see a writer and get to know subject, usually you realise that they're all just, they've all been there too. They've all been a bit nervous about stuff. So
was one guy he does rap and stuff now.
And
one of the things that he'd said to me after one of the events, and he's saying, "Look, mate," he said, "I used to spend the whole day in knots. My stomach was in knots before I'd done an event." He said, "But I've now done about 200. Saying, so you doing maybe say maximum of 10 isn't going to really cut it for you in the long run. So I'm not ruling it out. I won't rule it out, but this is progress for me.
So well done. So. That's it. We tempted you on to kind of come and talk to me tonight. So that was it.
That's curious. I'll definitely pick up Sheila's book.
That's it.
It could lead to other things, but
absolutely.
I did park that aspect of it. I just really enjoyed being in the background and writing.
He's got but just Paul saying, "Come on, read a few, why don't you?" And he's just going to do that for us. That's it. You get yourself comfy, and then we'll
think.
and we'll let's hear a few poems.
I think I'll read the one recently. The last one in the book would be relative to Boris Johnson and his affairs, let's just say. It's called Curtains. Unable to give a straight answer, sleazy Boris, hideous chancellor. Swanky decor, humble abode, potentially broke ministerial code. Serial liar, pressure mounts. Typical Tory, swizzling accounts. Doesn't know right from doing wrong, frolicking on his new chaise longue. Okay, another one.
Love it.
So I think a lot of these, some of these are localised. I've done some about the weather and stuff like that. Here's Black Friday. As we know about the kind of the American side of things, when it comes to Black Friday, it's carnage. Called Black Friday. It doesn't take much to follow American fads. Padded helmet, mouthguard, knee and elbow pads. Rugby tackling, a seldom known brand. 50-inch LCD, now 99 from $1,000. Grab one, grab two, stand on another three. Prepare to issue violence, idiotic consumerist spree. More money than sense, lots of cash to spunk. Under every Christmas tree, blood, sweat and tears, blue punk. Want we do one more?
Yep, keep going. I was trying to think which ones I was just looking for my favourites.
Do you want to pick one then? Why don't you?
Well, I was going to say, because it was mentioned the Iron Brew earlier, so actually that was one of
right. Well, that one, the long one.
Yes, yes.
There's two Iron Brew ones.
There's two Iron Brew ones, yes.
No, three, when she visited Cumbernauld recently.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, go on.
It's called Fanny Central. This story is unbelievably true. Locals addicted to Iron Brew, consuming several litres every single day, but failing to keep the doctor away. Start with a can, finish with a bottle, high as a kite, going full throttle. Jakey shakes, withdrawal ticks, insatiable appetite, sugar fix. Recipe for disaster, secret ingredient, can charge you up, make you disobedient. Magic syrup, orange and pure, a well-renowned hangover cure. Bouncing about with a glass check, everyone getting it in the neck. No brew left, total disaster. factory cannot produce any faster. Made in Scotland by A.G. Barr, doesn't drive but has a car. The juice biochemist hides in the lab for fear of reprisal from Tam Senga and Rab.
And we'll let Paul know, because Paul's down south, and Iron Brew, if you haven't heard of it, definitely it's Scotland's national drink.
Yeah, my cousin listening from down south, she likes and her son likes Iron Brew. It used to come up when they come up for their holidays. They used to Iron Brew ice cream or Iron Brew. You know what it's like. It's a
Girders superb. That's it, exactly.
That's it. Made in Scotland from Girders. Girders, the old advert back in the day.
That's it.
But I did do. I'll send over another time. I did do the Iron Lady when the Queen visited recently, so it's very Scottish and topical. You know,
Sheila was just saying, I'm glad you're rhyming. Do you like non-rhyming poems?
I do. I've written a few, but generally I'm just all about the rhyme. That's just my thing, and that's what I do. I mean, that whole book is rhymes, the whole thing. But I have done other stuff before that I followed a few structures before, just to try it out. I kind of looked up a book that was to do with structures. Just a couple of lines don't completely follow a rhyming structure, and they end differently, or paragraphs. I've done a couple. I can't remember what ones they were, but you know,
this is your natural flow, isn't it?
This is what I like to do. Yeah.
Being in that and enjoying the laughter with it, kind of just making it. And that's for me, when it's like growing up, I suppose that was the thing. You had the serious poems. The serious poems didn't rhyme. They were the ones that you had to try and figure out what was this all about. When you watch at school, I don't know. I'm confused.
Because generally, you're going to read most of my stuff, and you're going to get it straight away.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun. You're not going to have to keep reading it unless there's a couple of words in it you maybe not recognise if you're not from Scotland, or when you're dropping the G, which I found interesting just in the process with Elaine.
Yeah,
and I've enjoyed the process. That's the thing as well. It's been an enjoyable process.
That's good.
The editing aspect, and just think you learn. I think you learn so much. Just from these things, working like Elaine. I thought Elaine done an amazing job, and it was great to see the outcome. And I don't think I actually get a chance to even say to you, because as I said to you, that with everything that's been going on, I haven't actually properly said to you that how much I loved the book and seeing it firsthand, because as you know, my dad took unwell, and I didn't get my hands on the book for a good while.
That's it. We've got to say we'll let you have a little drink there. You can tell us a little bit about what happened then, that the day that your book actually arrived through the letterbox.
Well, the day my book arrived through the letterbox, my dad had come in. My dad came into my room holding his forehead, saying he felt ill, felt really dizzy. So I got him into his own room, got him a glass of water, and within a couple of minutes, he deteriorated really quickly. Turns out he was having a heart attack. So it was really quite touch and go. He lost consciousness. He stopped breathing. So it was really quite a scary event. I had to stay on the phone to the NHS. They get an ambulance through as quickly as possible. So I had to stay on the phone because of how serious it was until the ambulance arrived. So I said to the girl, can I go and shove on some clothes? Because I'm wearing boxer shorts and a t-shirt. Can I go and can I at least shove some clothes on? He said, no, just you have to go down and open it now. He was actually, I must say, he was conscious by that point and stuff. And he was kind of in a kind of state in between, really.
Yeah.
So everybody downstairs, opened the door. There was a book lying on the floor. So got into action emergency, and when I went in to see him, I took in some stuff, not the book. took in some other stuff. And I was speaking to him, and he's saying, "Has a book arrived? Is your book in yet? Is your book in?" I said, "Do you know what, Dad? It fell through the door when I was opening the door to the ambulance." I said, "The irony." He went, "Well, hopefully it's a good omen, because he's still alive. The books came through." He said, "I've hung on for it." I said, "No, you're right." So I said, I didn't want to say in case you get a wee bit overexcited, because my dad's my biggest supporter. And he's always kind of got my back and things when it comes to that. And yep. I didn't want him getting overexcited and end up having another one or whatever, you know. So yep. I said, "Look, I'll bring it up for you then. I'll give you the honour of opening the book. I've not opened it yet. I'll let you do it." So he said, "Right, okay." So went back home, got the stuff, took it up. So I phoned him later on. He said, "Oh, this is brilliant. This is great. I'm loving this." I said, "Brilliant." I said, has it cheered you up?" He said, "Oh, it's cheered me up. It's cheered me up. And a couple of the guys in the ward like it as well." So it gave him a focus other than what had happened.
Yeah.
I didn't see my own book until about 6 days later. And even at that, I found it hard to look at. I wasn't in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's what I'm saying about. Yeah, it took me a while, and actually when I met a mate for lunch a couple of weeks ago, and he's actually mentioned in the book, so hence why I took it with me.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a wee look at it in the train on the way home, and it was the first time I was able to kind of relax and embrace it, really.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
And other than that, it sits on the mantelpiece behind the wee ornament, which we got for my mum. So it just sort of be sentimental. It sits on the mantelpiece. My dad occasionally lifts it off and has a wee look at it. But it definitely meant a lot to him, and it was good to be able to give him a wee boost.
Yeah.
So I don't think,
well, I was going to say, I don't think there's, it's the first time I've heard a story of their yard that the author themselves didn't get to see his book for 6 days. Yeah. His dad got to it, but I mean, in such circumstances, and hopefully it does absolutely.
It meant so much that I gave him the honour of opening it, because you know, he is one of my biggest supporters. He's always been behind me, always encouraging me, and it was good. It was good to be able to do that. I didn't even want to take a sneak peek or anything like that, you know, like rip the wee bit off the cardboard and have a wee peek. I wanted him to completely be the person
that did that.
Opened it.
So it's fabulous. And I know that David was saying about the fact that you had produced your own graphics, and that you've got, so the whole, it's been a really collaborative, kind of process between your, putting the graphics together. Obviously we had to adjust a few of them a little bit here and there.
Sure.
And your poems, your words that have been put into that. And I absolutely love, now you maybe don't see it quite so well, but I love this picture. I think this is just such a fantastic picture that actually made the cover.
Ironically, my dad took that picture. Which is good. It's a tunnel not far from where I stay. If Carolyn's listening, it's a tunnel down beside Greenfields train station. It's quite popular with dog walkers and stuff. And I love graffiti, and I love the edge of graffiti and stuff. And I just thought it would a good opportunity to have that kind of that urban kind of feel. So my dad got my dad over a fence, down through muddy grass into an isolated tunnel, and it just took a good few snaps, but a couple of them, it wasn't over the top amount taken, it was maybe about 5 or 6. And that one just stood out.
Really caught it. Absolutely brilliant.
Sinclair done a great job with the back as well. See how it's like a wee bit, it looks like it's regurgitated some of the front.
You maybe don't see it quite as, I don't know if I put it up really close, you might actually see that you've got a little bit there. So yes, and it was that kind of really nice. That's what I said. It's a nice pot. Oh, it's a lovely feel to it, isn't it? That's that you just kind of go, you just.
What is it? What is it? It feels rubbery.
That's just a matte finish that we have with the books, but it's just got such a lovely feel to it. So so it's definitely something to, Christmas isn't that far away for folk, start buying early, get your stocking fillers up,
That's it. We'll start doing that.
Exactly. Just Joyce was asking, have you written any poetry about your dad?
I haven't. Well, do you know what? I think I might have done years ago, done a wee sort of cheeky one, just a wee thingy, but I don't think I kept it. It was kind of about him and his pals growing up. It wasn't into write home about. It was just kind of playing with him. About him and his pals hanging about outside the Kelvin Grove art galleries.
Right.
When I was younger, because my great gran used to work in the galleries, and they used to hang about outside as kids and stuff and play about the trees and that sort of thing. But no, it's not. With regards to my mum, who sadly passed away a year and a half ago, I done one for her, which was a tribute. I actually wrote one for her. Apparently, I found it a couple of years ago. I wrote a poem for her in primary 6.
So this poetry stuff's been around for you for a long time.
I know. So, something I didn't even remember writing. I just found the thing, just kind of tucked away in a kind of sentimental box. But I done a tribute to my mum. It was on her order of service and stuff. So, you know, yeah. I mean, I might do another one and stuff, but I don't know. It seems to be. There's got to be a reason generally for it, you know.
So do you write? I mean, how prolific are you? I mean, are you? I mean, never mind the gift side, but just generally this idea stuff. I mean, is there stuff comes up all the time? I mean, are you writing every day, or you know what?
I've slowed down writing. I would say I am prolific. I've written probably about 1,200 poems.
Okay.
Probably slowed down recently because, as I was saying to you before, my mum had taken ill, etc., and then sadly passed away, and then my dad's had this issue and stuff, so not as much, but I did once write 31 poems in 31 days as a challenge. So we just taking pot shots at the kind of media, whatever. It was quite similar, maybe some of your political ones, satirical, even weather, or something maybe silly, like celebrities doing something. Like there's obviously Kim Kardashian gets mentioned in the Kanye West, that sort of thing. So just general, but no, I've got a big portfolio, but a lot of it's not a lot of it is quite personal. Some of the things to do with friends and stuff back in the day, so it's not something generally for general consumption that other people would enjoy. But I've got, and I will continue to add, and that's the thing. I'll get back. I've done a few recently. I've maybe done about 4 over the past maybe month, and I'm not sure whether this is the next stage of depending on where this one goes. Whenever I do new ones, it's always potential possibly for the next one. If there's going to be one, you know, so that's the thing. So it's never, for me, I love it that much, and if I don't ever do anything with it, it's still personal, it's still, you know, it's still fun, I still enjoy it, and if it's going to work towards another book, then that's great as well, you know. So
fantastic. I think that you've got a real talent, you know, there's that, you know, to make people smile, to make them laugh, you know, to be able to, particularly in the last, you know, all that you've had in your life, but what we've all been through in the last kind of 18 months, you know, life's been tough for a lot of people.
It has, very much so.
And to be able to kind of poke a bit of fun at some of our politicians who, I mean, to be fair, they make it fairly easy for you.
They do. Just picking up these they present themselves nearly every day. You know, that's the thing. You can depend. It doesn't have just to be local politicians. There's stuff in there about Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump's probably got about. He's got most of the coverage. You
get a whole book just
absolutely. I think I've done 20 on Trump. Got a wee folder sitting to the side here that I'd collected them all at one point. So the folder's called Twump. It's just a wee folder called Twump, and it's maybe like 20 in it, you know. So
so
just
there's always going to be new. Always going to be
absolutely
new material.
There is. Just keep it at just social media or on the news or, you know, newspapers or whatever. Just things you pick up or just things that are happening in the world. you know.
So where can people connect with you on social media? Where do you hang out most?
Sure, generally Facebook and Twitter. So I'm on Facebook. I've got a Poetic Substance Facebook page. So if you look up that. But if you want to look up my own personal name, I mean, I generally only use Facebook for my poetry and getting word out there and stuff. So it's John Latimer. You'll see my cover photo is the same as the book.
Yep.
At Substance Poetic on Twitter. They're the two that I mainly deal with. I did set up an account on Instagram, but I didn't follow through with it. It's not really my thing, but I might end up using it for a tool at some point.
Yep.
I just kind of thought Instagram was all just kind of selfies and people
doing this selfies and hashtags. That's it.
Absolutely. That's at the side of the mountain and stuff. But I might. People have said like it's maybe worthwhile having an Instagram and stuff, but mainly I'm on LinkedIn too. So just under my name, John Latimer, on LinkedIn. I find LinkedIn quite corporate. So I still fire up the odd poem and things, but mainly the audience comes from Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, I do like Twitter. It can be quite a good ground to pick up ideas. And
Carolyn saying definitely your cover would be great for Instagram. So that's the
right. Cheers, Carolyn.
So yep.
Great Cumbernauld advice.
That's the next thing. You just have to go around and take different pictures of different parts of Cumbernauld.
I know, that's the thing. You don't always have to like these platforms. I suppose it's just how you use them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm aware of that.
So we've got one last question, and then I'm going to get you to just read another couple of us, just to end the night. So Sheila was asking that she's written. She says she's written poetry since childhood, but strangely, 2 books out, neither of them are poetry. But do you think you might write a non-poetry book in the future? Then
that's a really good question, Sheila. Has crossed my mind at points, but. Do you know, I'm not sure. I'm not one for reading these sort of things. So I think if I did tackle something like that, I think I would come at it from quite an amateur standpoint. You know, I don't think I would. But then, you never know. You never know.
You never know.
I like to keep the options open, but it's not something I'm desperate to do or I must do.
Yeah.
But maybe, you know, because the love of the writing could extend to something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just, I suppose, about getting the structure right and all the rest of it. I have seen things before, different things telling you how you can construct a book and character building and all that sort of thing. And I think, is that for me? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'll never say never.
And then you can just be, as Sheila did come to us when she only had this one book she was doing, and then the writer's muse, as so many people and so many on here will probably recognise, in various formats, the writer's muse appears and starts to sort of channel some words through you. So before you know it, you're actually sitting there writing. And Paul, who's on the call, certainly knows a little bit about certain things coming through. We've got an interesting. He's got an absolutely fascinating kind of book that's it's bubbling away at the moment that we won't say anything about tonight, but there's stuff there. And I was talking to Damaris today as well about stuff that she's written, lots of different things. So and David Macleod, he's got his Any Broken Biscuits book coming out soon. So there's there's lots of different people who have a go at writing something and just do the best you can to get it out. So
absolutely,
you've done it. I mean, that's the thing is you've done the first one. There's the hard work, get that first one out. So well done, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We're really, really delighted. It's been a joy to work with you on it.
To work with you. I mean, really, and the same with this. I mean, see, I'm actually feeling relatively relaxed, and I think it's a lot down to yourself. As I said to you before, when I first had a Zoom call, I just had a connection. Just you made me feel relaxed. Just very personable, and it kind of. It makes a big difference when you're working with someone like yourself that's very down to earth, friendly. It makes it easier.
Thank you.
It really does make it worth it, and I can't recommend you highly enough.
Well, thank you so much. That's much appreciated.
Thank you.
So can we get you to give us another couple of poems to kind of see us out for the evening?
Absolutely. I'll get this one just opened up at here.
Yep.
With,
okay.
A localized one. Probably a lot of people experience this in the local town. It's called, as you can see, the graphic is a burger, and it's called McRagin. Golden arches, what's it called? Traffic snaked round Cumbernauld. Security staff wearing high vis. Randoms getting in it is. Pedestrian crossing roundabouts. Square goes and angry shouts. Camries for a happy meal. Hungry monsters behind the wheel. So that's, as Callan will well know, it probably happens in most local towns, that all the cars were snaked round, back to roundabouts, backed up, security guards trying to keep people from attacking each other over a burger. So that's how that came around as McRagin. That's the one. What's her name again? Her was responsible for the track and trace. Remember she came from a kind of corporate background, not a politics one, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've lost who she is.
She's not, names? I don't know. She's not
named personally as such. So to do with the track and trace, it's called SPAFT. 12 billion for track and trace. Tory charlatans, monetary chase. Corporate machine in full swing. World beating, ching, ching, ching. Marketplace for establishment luck. Create an app that doesn't work. Fraud of the century, without a doubt. Frightening amounts spaffed about. Cheers. Okay.
Awesome.
Maybe do one more actually.
Yeah, go on then. You've got a captive audience.
I know. I'm in the mood now. You've relaxed me.
There you are. See, the man who said he liked it.
We'll go for can you relate?
Can you relate? Okay, that's
Can you relate? Beep, beep, beep. Coming through. Big dark oil bum cheeks, pay-per-view. Popping expensive champers like you just don't care. Spunking bubbles, tabletop derriere. Not content with a Photoshop rear. Few million more, off comes all the gear. Full frontal, black dress drape. Simply famous for a filthy sex tape. Thanks very much.
But, so what I would say to everybody, if you would like to, you can unmute yourselves and we can give John a nice round of applause and say congratulations to him. There's usually then a big ramex, so I will just mute my mic for that, but you can unmute yourself and give him a round of applause.
Yay. Well done, John. Well
Thanks
done.
very much. Much appreciated.
Well done.
Hi, cousin.
Hello.
Hiya.